So when you're talking about far left, never associate it with wokeness. Wokeness is a specific example of left-wingers who utilize, modern dress and things like this in order to associate attention on them for whatever those issues are. That's what wokeness really is.
So you would agree that there are two descriptors in the term woke left. There is the word woke, which is a descriptor, and there is the word left, which is a descriptor.
Yes.
Right? Just like where there is a descriptor in the two descriptors in woke right. There is woke and there is right. Trying to isolate what woke means, which is all I'm doing, is very simple. There is a oppressor, oppressed, a they out there, which is where the terminology started, like we discussed in the debate. It was started by this group of black people who were like, we're being held down, and we are waking up, right? And look at what the Groypers call themselves: noticers, a simile to woke, right? We notice, we are awake, we are noticing, right? So there is
the key difference being that black people were systemically oppressed, like there were laws.
Well, they believe that.
Well, and what do you do in the morning? You wake up. Whoa.
Yeah, that's that James Lindsay says that I don't agree with, where I'm like, he's making it too intellectual, complicated, and I'm trying to simplify it. It is a oppressed victim mentality, hyperfixated on identity politics. Now that's the woke side. On the right and left side, where you have to differentiate it, where the left has equity, inclusion, and the they is a different people group, where the right is nationalism, socialism, isolationism, and there is a different people group. That's the difference between the two sides of
this is woke. But this is just stupid. Like what you're talking about is just let me. You just
all
talked
I know
about.
is every time I go online, Andrew's
wait. Just let me get it. So what you're just talking about is just a basic ideological dialectic that's always like, if you look at the 20th century and you look at the communist threat, and then if you have more of a nationalist uprising, fascist uprising against the communists, you wouldn't call the fascist commie right. You'd call them fascists. You'd call them what they are. Right. So why are you doing it? So why are you doing that with this? Why are you applying the leftist logic? Like woke is a specific thing. Woke is a specific technology that looks at race and gender and all these types of things, and then looks at equity and looks at intersectionality.
Woke is
all base stuff. Love that
stuff. You're taking the wrong descriptor and applying it to the other word in the descriptor, right? You're taking the left and applying it to woke. Woke just means awake to the idea that there is a they that is holding us down.
No, it's not. Woke
doesn't have to be
woke is about left-wing racial ideology and left-wing gender ideology and intersectionality.
Otherwise, they would have never called it woke left. They would have just called it woke.
But they don't call it woke left. They called it woke.
I'm going to kindly remind you that I am not moderating this round. However, Andrew dodged again. You guys started in, but then you let him deflect it all back to Misfit Patriot. I'm ashamed of all of you weak-ass men.
Sarah,
I know is every time.
Well, that is Andrew's tactic. He deflects 24/7, right?
How did I deflect? I was just sitting here, bro.
Andrew, how old is it? Andrew, is it really your birthday? How old are you?
I'm 41. No, it's not my birthday.
You're only
Happy
1
birthday,
year.
Andrew.
You're 1 year older than me, and you look that much older than me. Dang.
I feel like I look younger than you, but
yeah, actually, low-key.
Your lighting is not helping you, bro.
All right, Andrew, turn your head like this to the side. I want to see how much. Okay, yeah, no, you're older.
You guys have like similar amounts of gray in your beards.
No, he has way more. This is just the light.
I don't know.
I think the interesting thing is that every single political movement always says there is a negative thing out there. There's a threat out there, whether that be too big of government overreach, immorality, or whatever it is. And then they push against it. Every political movement ever has others
but it's
intertwined with it.
Problems they identify.
But it's using
but the radical, that's a tough. You think that banning infant murder is radical, so that's gonna.
I didn't say that.
Get down into semantics.
I think forced pregnancy is radical.
I'm saying, wait, you can use common sense to identify what the woke left
My
is.
phone's dying. I gotta go.
Andrew,
thank you so much, man. Congratulations on 200,000. Can't wait to see you get more. I gotta get back to work since ICE raided the Crucible facilities. Now the work's been put on me even more. So, see you guys all soon.
Who do you think called him? Who do you think called him, bro? Who do you think called him? All right, see you later, bro.
Bye, Rob. Thank you.
Rob rage quits another debate.
Misfit, what's radical to you?
Okay, so We don't have to.
I'm really trying to get your definition on what's radical to you, like abortion,
Okay.
Christian ethics.
So you can identify woke. Woke doesn't. If you see somebody on the left, right, and they have these, they're espousing certain ideas, you go, that's woke, right? It's like it's one of those things where you just know it when you see it. Okay, so you know
Which is
when
what?
you see it. No, but I'm saying you know it when you see it. It's one of those things.
Okay,
right?
but it's what?
Just
You're trying to
radical to you.
So the same thing is happening on the right. Radical might not be the right word. I would say extreme.
Tubular.
You're going to step back on radical. And
No. I would say extreme would
Very
be a better
handsome word, even.
Radical and extreme both fit, but I would say extreme fits better. Right. So the Groyper movement, I would say that the Groyper movement is a group of extremists, right, where they want to impose extreme change on the right. They are a small faction of the right wing who is getting the loudest voices with the most attention, right, to impose radical change to the party. I think that would be a statement that most people would agree with. Now, the reason why I think they're woke is because the behavior is very similar to what I see on the left, with the hyperfixation on identity politics. The people group is oppressing us. The conspiratorial fucking bullshit about how there's the Jews control the government and shit like that. It's the same thing. It's just a different spectrum.
It's not rooted in reality, right? That's the difference, I would say.
Wait, so Misfit, you're just talking about talk, not descriptors like blue hair, gender swapping, all this other shit that's happening on the left. You're just talking about behaviors on the right?
I'm talking, yes. Blue hair. Anybody could have blue hair.
Outspoken people, that's what you're talking about.
A conservative could have blue hair.
That's it.
They don't usually, though.
I would ask you to find one, because that I've always kind of pondered that.
I know
idea.
there's a girl on the right that has pink hair. There, what's her name? She's
that's not blue though, right?
I know it's not blue, but it is
okay.
pink.
Wow, Misfit, get your
There's
colors
the
right,
distinction.
The fuck, man.
But I'm saying dyed hair is not woke. I don't think anybody would say
They
that's
specifically said blue. They didn't say anything
Certain
about
types of dyed hair,
dyed.
maybe I would
Jesus
associate
fucking
with
Christ.
that.
How in the world can you be the? I want to roast Andrew. I really do, but. Misfit, bro, you're catching all the heat because you keep saying such stupid things, man.
What did I say? That's
Stop
stupid?
it! Stop talking! Stop talking! Stop talking!
Retard! What did I say? That's stupid.
I don't want to get back into it. I've got a list. There's like a top 10.
Don't open your cock holster if you're not going to follow up with what the fuck I said. That's stupid.
Okay, woke right was number one.
Language around Jake.
Like right out of the fucking gate.
I can't understand anyway.
So you sit there. So you asked me to define something. I define it. You dismiss it.
No, you did not define it. You did not define it. You failed at defining it. You
good
tried,
abstraction,
but you fucking failed.
Just because
everybody's sitting right in front of you.
Agree.
You've got five people sit. We're not going to count Coder because he's not real bright.
So
and we're not going to count Sarah because she's a moderator. But you got five people who are still saying you have not defined shit.
So there are five.
So only one person
people
that's not ideologically predisposed to think that it's a bad term to use is the only one who thinks that he said some reasonable things. That's curious.
Yeah, there are five people on the panel that disagree with me. I have like tens of thousands of followers, right? Who do agree.
Have all like the entire panel disagree with you.
Yeah, because it's a fucking
also
panel.
by the way, they're
do you guys think? Hold on. Do you think
we're all actual right wing people? Like
actual.
I think so anyway.
Actual.
That may be that Australian over there.
How do you define actual? How do you find actual right wing? What is your definition?
I'll give you the three pillars.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So the three pillars were outlined years ago by one Michael Savage, and he said cultures, border, nation. I would actually accept those as being the three pillars in which I would accept for those who are on the right for both social and economic reasons, that we're looking at those three things. We're looking at culture, we're looking at language, and we're looking at borders.
I agree with all three of those things.
Yeah, so those are the kind of three big ones. However, when you're talking about culture, so the Groyper ideal here is that if culture is being unduly influenced by one group or another group, that should be looked at. You say in response, okay, well, fair enough, but that's exactly what the left does. The left is saying that whites have undue cultural influence where they shouldn't have undue cultural influence. It's like, okay, I can accept that too. I guess my big disparity with you has always been when I'm kind of defining words and I'm trying to figure out dichotomy, in this case, dichotomy is left versus right. So in order to dive into what the worldview means, why is it that they believe these things? Ryan can have racial motivations in the way that he views the kind of overview of how society works. And so can the right. They can have racial motivations to look at the way that society works. The issue here is why. What is the pillars which hold up each of these worldviews? That's where I think that I've said this before, that your definition here fails to map on. It sounds good only on the surface level. The problem is that when we get to the actual pillars, the left and right, I agree with you, are not disagreeing that there can be oppressor-oppressed classes. That's not it. We're disagreeing on the reasons why, right? The reasoning why there's oppressor-oppressed classes. If you look at the left-wing paradigm, it's based around the lack of equity and social access to basic services, which would basically push that equity forward so that now there was some sort of egalitarianism across the board. That would be what was missing so that's their racial prism. What you're associating here with the dissident right as being their prism is like, sure, they can look through the same prism and say there's an oppressor-oppressed class, and there can even be one race oppressing another. In this case, maybe we're oppressed by, whoever the fuck they say it is.
The Jews.
But the pillars, but would just be TOS cool here, please. But anyway, it's not that I'm trying to duck the heart of it. I'm just telling you when I'm on YouTube, so just be cool there.
I don't even know what that means.
Okay, it just means don't even say the J word, because you'll get mass flagged for things you're not even saying.
I didn't even know
that. That's all I'm saying. So anyway, the prism, though, what is the core things which hold that ideology up, has nothing to do with equity, and it has nothing to do with the disparity. It has to do with conquer, might, subterfuge, things like this. So I think that your kind of like core here for how you map these on doesn't actually make, and I never thought it made sense. The second we take it from the slight overview into the depths of what holds it up, I've never thought they mapped on very well.
I think that, let me explain something that I didn't explain in the last bit. I think that what you're looking at is like the two words, right? And there's a behavior and a solution, right? So there's the behavior side of woke, which is what I'm classifying as woke. Then there's the solution problem, which is what you're talking about. On the left, it's equity, inclusion, and they have this idea of radical change. But
that's the worldview for the descriptor, too.
No. Yeah, sure, but no, because with the right wing, you have a lot of people espousing nationalism or isolationism, right? With the left, you have a lot of people espousing socialism, right, or communism. And
those aren't mutually exclusive. Left-wingers,
no, they're not
left-wingers have often been the ones who actually advocate for isolationism. Bernie Sanders and most of the Democrats in their early career, when talking about immigration especially, were very much, if they were socialist, isolationists, because they understood the economic impact that immigration would have on local job displacement. So they actually, I can show you, especially in the 70s and 80s, where hardcore socialist activists inside the United States were literally whipping up mobs to immigrants coming in so that they could stop them from coming in. And they made a big deal out of it. So it's like, I don't know about that.
I would